So I thought about it a little bit, and as I said before, I don't really want to belabor the point of C++. This is not a C++ development course, so I'm not really going to dive too farther into the STL stuff. I thought about doing a video for each STL data structure and going through explaining how they work and how they're used, but again, this is for EOS, and I don't feel like you really need to know the STL stuff. If you're interested in it, go look it up. There's tons of videos online. That's how I learned it. I just showed an interest, read articles, coded in it, kind of explored, experimented with code, things like that. You're welcome to do exactly the same thing. And I think it will help in smart contract development. The way I see EOS smart contract development going is there's going to be more and more computation done, so you'll kind of want to be able to do interesting things in the C++ library. So instead of belaboring the point, going through all that stuff, I decided, like I said, we talk about the Boost library. Only because this is a good kind of segue into, okay, enough C++, let's talk about EOS-specific C++. I noticed they're using the Boost library in different places throughout the code, so I figured, hey, I'll show people how they can use the Boost library themselves, and then you're welcome to do the same thing. Just go ahead and experiment, play around with the code, see how it works. If you go to the Boost website, you can see they just have tons and tons and tons of libraries. It's a bit like the Apache Commons libraries for Java. They have a library for everything: thread, test, exceptions, you name it. If you can think of something you need to do in C++, there's probably a Boost library for it somewhere. So it's important to know how to pull those libraries in, and then you can play around with them, deep dive, do your own research. So the first thing you need to do is you need to, I actually just done this, you need to install this library. Depending on your operating system, how you end up installing it's going to be different. Of course, you probably already know that. In my case, I'm running Linux, so this is how I would install it. I've already installed it, so it's not going to do anything, but this gives you all the Boost libraries. And then you need to kind of figure out where they're located. It helps to know where they're on the path, things like that. It's not explicitly necessary though. From there, you kind of have to be familiar with the Boost library. So in this case, I'm using this lambda functionality of the Boost library. You have to know that it's located in the lambda directory and that there's a lambda.hpp file, and that gives you access to this function. This function, again, as I said in the previous video, it's going to give me exactly the same thing that this lambda below it is doing. So when you see lambda_1, now you know kind of what it's doing. It's yet a even more succinct way of expressing, I want to print this thing out, right? So all we have to do is add this include library, just like we did with the algorithm library, just like we did with the vector library to get the vector functionality and the for each functionality. We're doing the same thing with Boost. It just doesn't come preloaded, so you have to go install it yourself. From there, you should be able to compile it exactly like you were before. If we run it just like before, you'll see the same output we got from the lambda below it. So that's how you get the Boost library. You can use it in your own C++. Again, it's a good idea. Definitely learn as much as you can about this and the STL library if you want to be the best EOS smart contract developer you can. So in the next video, let's start talking about, we'll start looking at EOS code and talking about specifics of the EOS language, or not language, I should say framework, in the next video. Okay, see you then.